Thomas Morning Blend. People are talking about how can I get back into doing conferences and film festivals and all kinds of fun stuff. Well, there's a young lady who's just about 120 miles away in Columbia, Missouri, who I had a chance to meet at 1 Million Cups, who has her own company. And it's called A2D Events. Adonica Coleman, welcome to Morning Blend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. So do me a favor and tell us exactly what is A2D Events.
A2D events. So the A2D stands for attention to detail. And we are a full service event planning company located, like you said, in Columbia, Missouri. And we have traditionally focused on corporate fundraising and community events when live events were a thing. Now, when live events became not a thing last year due to COVID, then we had to do some quick thinking and some pivoting. And so now we include virtual events as well.
So how do you do these virtual events? I mean, for example, I did the St. Louis Black Film Festival here for 6 years, but it was physical in a theater,
Yes.
and at a bar for the after party. So how do I do the film festival virtually?
Yeah. So, that's those have been the $1 million questions. How do I convert an event that was a live event into a virtual event and keep people interested and keep people engaged? That's the real trick. We've done several different events. We've converted from live to virtual because we had no choice. We are able to virtually handle any type of ticket sales, registration. We are able to build private portals for your ticket holders so that they can enter our virtual platform in a private setting. And as long as you've got licenses for the film, then we can play them and people can watch them. We can do live Q&A sessions. We can bring guests in virtually, film producers or actors or actresses. We can bring them in virtually to have interactive sessions with the people who are watching. And if it was something that you wanted to be on a public social media channel, we can make that happen as well. So we're just in the business right now of doing our best to create a custom event that matches as much as we can what you have been able to do live.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a film festival. It could be a convention. It could be a conference.
Yes.
It could be the annual meeting of whatever. Is that correct?
You are correct. It could be any of those things we have done. I will say that our first dive into conferences came last year in July. It was for the Carter Center at the University of Missouri. And they had a conference that they had been having here in Missouri, in Columbia, in person for the last several years. They knew due to COVID, they wouldn't be able to get, 200 to 300 people to come in for the conference. And we converted it to a virtual conference for them. And they ended up selling 1,200 tickets to a conference that normally had 300 people. People who probably normally wouldn't have come to the conference because of the flight, and coming to a different city, they were able to attend. And the beauty is when it's all over at a physical conference, you can only go to one session at a time. You just see one session. On a virtual conference, you can jump from room to room to room, listen to a little of this, a little of that. And then we always have the option to record those sessions so that people can then go back and see the ones that they missed. So those become resources for these companies and organizations when they're done.
So you're telling me that if I decide to do the Black Film Festival again, I could have Denzel Washington in a room talking about something, and I can have Ava Deneau talking about something, and I can have Angela Bassett talking about something, Regina King talking about directing. All these things you can make happen through the virtual event.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't have to fly anybody in or do any of that.
No, you do not. You do not have to fly anybody in. People are doing these things now from the comfort of their own homes. And I believe that because of the space we're in now, people have been more open to doing these things in markets that are different than the Los Angeles and the Colorados. They're because they can do it from home. The convenience factor is there. And so imagine if you have all those people you just mentioned, each in a separate room. My goodness, I'm signed up. You sign me up first because I want to attend. I want to attend.
So, Ms. Coleman, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend. You and I have talked about a few other things. Tell Jill I said hi.
I will. We'll do it. She'll be happy to hear it.
And tell your husband I said, get on the team.
All right. All right. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to get him convinced and we're going to be ready to go.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend.
Thank you, James.